Good evening, students. Welcome to today's live. Today's topic that we have chosen to discuss is structured powers and legislative process. Basically, this is about the Parliament of India. So, we are going to discuss about the Parliament. Structure and powers will be the focus of today's topic because legislative processes we have to discuss about an ordinance, money bill, a financial bill, and so on and so forth, which I'm going to take in tomorrow's session. So let's begin with understanding the structure and powers of Parliament. As we all know, Parliament is the lawmaking body of India at the central level. And the structure of Parliament is defined under Article 79. Now, what does Article 79 tell us? It tells us that Parliament will have president and two houses. Please remember the word and is extremely important. I'll tell you why and is important. We all know that the President of India is the head of the executive, not the head of the legislature. So basically, you should remember that the President is part of Parliament, but he does not head the legislature. Okay, so President is a part of Parliament. Okay. He does not head the legislature, does not head the parliament. He is part of it. Why is he part of it? Because as the head of the state, he will have certain responsibilities with regard to the functions of the parliament. That is the reason he's a part of it. He's not a head. And two houses is important because specifying it as two houses indicates that India, the constitution provides for a bicameral legislature. And remember, bicameralism is a feature of federal form of government. It represents a federal form of government. I hope this is clear. Now, these two houses in the constitution are called, as always, we write Council of States first, followed by House of People. Remember, this is also very, very important. First will be Council of States, followed by House of People. The terms Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are not mentioned anywhere in the constitution. Nowhere in the constitution will you find the terms Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha mentioned. This is very important because if they ask you, according to the constitution, which of the following comprises of parliament in India? President, Council of States, and House of People. It is not Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. This is extremely important. Now, moving forward, the next thing that we have to know is about the composition of the two houses. 80 and 81 basically deal with the composition of the two houses. 80 deals with the composition of Council of States, whereas 81 deals with the composition of House of People. Now, what do these two articles tell us? Let's understand that. Council of States, according to Article 80, is an indirectly elected body. Elections are held once we use what is called as proportional representation by means, this is the voting system used by means of single transferable vote. Remember that it is indirectly elected by the MLAs of states. Remember, the elections for both Lok Sabha, Council of States and House of People are held by the Election Commission of India. Okay. However, this is indirectly elected. The voters are the MLAs of states, and also it has nomination system. 12 members can be nominated from four fields. Okay. The president will nominate members, 12 members from four fields. All right. So this is about the system of elections, the voting the electoral college of council of states. Now what is important here apart from this is you should remember that according to article 80, the seats in council of states are allocated to states on the basis of population based allocation. So states will not have equal number of equal representation in council of states. So population based allocation, this is very, 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 very important. Remember, this is a feature of asymmetric federalism. We say India has asymmetric federalism. How do we know that India has asymmetric federalism? Because in its Council of States, which is a representative body of the states in India, all states are not equally represented. So it is a feature of asymmetric federalism. The basis for this is 1971 census. On the basis of 1971 census, the allocation has been made indirectly elected. Now moving forward, the next important point that you have to remember here is Council of States has a total strength of 245, out of which 233 are elected and 12 are nominated. The fields are social service, sciences, arts, and literature. Now, remember, sports, cinema, all this comes under performing arts. Now, I want to know how many seats are allocated to my state. All right, where should I look at? This article tells us that the allocation, the number of seats allocated to each state, will be given in Schedule 4 of the Constitution. Schedule 4 of the Constitution will tell me each state how many seats are allocated. What is the basis for allocation of seats is actually given in the article. Article will tell you the basis for allocation of seats. So all this information is given under Article 80. Now, what does 81 say? 81 tells us that the House of People are directly elected through the system of proportional representation, sorry, through the system of first past the post system. We call it as first past the post system. Through this system, they are directly elected. Remember that they are elected by the electorate, meaning voters of the constituency. Also, you please remember that I'm going to give you a small comparison in these two once I finish with basic details. Remember that House of People will have 545 seats. Actually, its strength is 552, but we have 545 seats. Earlier, we had 543 seats elected and two nominated, but nominated is now discontinued. We no longer have nomination of seats in House of People. It has been discontinued by the 104 Constitutional Amendment Act. Now, coming back, there are a few fundamental differences that you have to remember. The first thing is in Council of States, no reservation. You will not have SC, ST, women, BC reservation in Council of States. Why? Because it is a representative body of the states in India. That is the reason preference focus is on representation of states, not on social groups. Whereas House of People is a representative body of the people in this country. Therefore, reservations will be provided for SC and ST. There will be reservation for SCs and STs. Also, remember, Council of States is a multi-member constituency. Now, what do you mean by multi-member constituencies? See, I can in a way say that each state is one constituency. For example, take this as a state in India, some state in, okay. In this state, if you ask me who are, what is the constituency, what is your constituency? I'm an MP of Lok Sabha. You ask me what is your constituency? I'll say this is my constituency. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 constituencies for House of People. However, and each member represents a specific demarcated territory. We call this as delimitation, a specific demarcated territory. Each member represents that and he has a specific area. Okay, when it comes to Rajya Sabha, There might be six MPs in Rajya Sabha from this state, but if you ask these six MPs, show me your constituency, they'll not have a specified area. All six MPs will represent the state as a whole. That is called as a multi-member constituency, and this is called as a single member constituency, meaning one representative per constituency, multiple representatives for each constituency. Okay, so this is a single member constituency. Each MP of Lok Sabha will have a demarcated territory. This demarcation is called as delimitation. In Lok Sabha, we have this, but in Rajya Sabha, you will not have a demarcation. All the MPs of Rajya Sabha from that state will represent the interest of the state as a whole, not a particular territory within the state. This is very, very important. Remember, Rajya Sabha allows expertise to be part of it. Okay? Why? How? Because it allows a nomination by president. Why? Because expertise and voices of different sections of society is essential in a democracy, in a parliamentary democracy. Representation is very important. So, representative democracy, you should ensure that all voices are heard, all expertise is used in legislative process. That is the reason we allow this. Now, coming to House of People, please remember this is more political based because you have to contest elections and you have to win elections. Yes, we did have a special representation which was given to the Anglo Indians through nomination by the president, but this special representation has been discontinued by the 104th Constitutional Amendment Act. So this is about the constitution of parliament, who will be there, how many people will be there, and so on and so forth. Now, coming to the powers of parliament, what is parliament? Why is parliament is so very important? What does it do? See, we all know that parliament is a legislative body. Primarily, its role is to make legislatures. So, legislative body, its role is to make legislations. Enacting laws is its primary role. So it will make ordinary laws, it will make constitutional amendment acts, and so on and so forth. Now, while it makes laws, to a large extent, these laws involve decision making. So it is also a decision making body. Whichever body makes laws, whoever gets to make the rules is the decision making body. So they will have the power to take decisions. Then you should also remember that parliament will also function as a representative body. It represents the interests of the body, of the people at large, the states at large. Okay, on this basis, we derive its power because it is representing and because it is the basis for the executive to come to power. Remember that parliament will have the authority to make the executive accountable. It will have the authority to make the executive accountable. How does it make the executive accountable? By various legislative procedures like the budget, the most important legislative procedure which ensures accountability is budget. Okay, by through various legislative processes, like you have the question hour, the 0 hour, the calling attention motion, the adjournment motion, all these ensure that there is control of the legislature on the executive. Why is this important? Because primarily this is a parliament functions as a legislative body, and India has parliamentary democracy. India has parliamentary democracy where executive will be responsible to the legislature. That is the reason why we have this. So these are the powers of legislature. Primarily, we've had to discuss about the structure and powers of the parliament. And remember, the structure and powers of the parliament structure is this much. We don't go beyond this for the structure, but powers of the parliament are too elaborate. So what I'll do is in the coming sessions, I'm going to take one session exclusively on parliamentary terminology, which will include and a lot of procedures that are followed, like question hour, zero hour, the terms used in parliament to represent the various procedures followed. Then we will one day discuss about executive legislative control, how is it exercised in India on executive. This is very, very important. This is a topic that is not usually separately dealt with, so I'll take that. Legislative processes are scheduled for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to discuss about a constitutional amendment, money bill, ordinary bill, because these are the legislative processes. The process is followed in the parliament to make various legislation. So, for that, first you should know what are the various legislations. So, these things we are going to discuss tomorrow. That is it from my end for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this live. I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you and good night.